In the name of Allah, who is the most merciful and most beneficent. Assalamu alaikum everyone. I am Kurutulan from the Department of BS Biotechnology. Today the topic of my presentation is Factors Effect on Equilibrium Mixture or Le Chatelier's principle, which is submitted to Sir Hamad. Before moving towards the factor that alter the composition of an equilibrium mixture, let us know that what is the main goal of a chemical synthesis. The main goal of chemical synthesis is to maximize the conversion of reactants to the products while minimizing the expenditure of energy. This objective is achieved easily if the reaction goes nearly to completion at mild temperature and pressure, or if the reaction gives an equilibrium mixture that is rich in reactants but it is poor in the products. However, then the experimental conditions must be adjusted, and the adjustment of these experimental conditions is known as Le Chatelier's principle. However, let us consider an example, the synthesis of ammonia from the elements which were developed by a German chemist Fritz Haber in 1913. He says that when 1 mole of nitrogen reacts with the 3 mole of hydrogen gas, then it gives the 2 moles of ammonia. Moreover, if we talk about the experimental conditions in the Haber process, then we will come to know that it is of the real economic importance because annual worldwide production of ammonia is about 130 million metric tons, which is primarily used as a fertilizer. If we talk about the industrial production of ammonia, which is also known as the Haber-Bosch process, then we will come to know that the Carl Bosch, who engineered the technology for scaling up the production, he gave the most important inventions of the 20th century because without ammonia-based fertilizers, the world population could not have been grown from 1.6 billion to 6 billion from the 19th century to 21st century. However, it has been estimated that almost half of the world's current population subsists on the crops grown with the output of the Haber-Bosch process. Now let us talk about the several factors that can be exploited to alter the composition of an equilibrium mixture. Number 1, the concentration of reactants or products can be changed. Number 2, the pressure and the volume can be changed. Number 3, the temperature can be changed. If we talk about the fourth possible factor, then we will come to know that is the addition of a catalyst, which only increases the rate at which the equilibrium is reached, but it doesn't affect the equilibrium concentration. Now let us talk about the qualitative effect of the listed changes on the composition of an equilibrium mixture can be predicted by using a principle which was first described by a French chemist Henri Louis Le Chatelier. He says that if a stress is applied to a reaction mixture at equilibrium, then the net reaction occurs in the direction that relieves the stress. Here the word stress means that change in the concentration, change in the pressure, change in the volume or change in the temperature that disturbs the original equilibrium. But the reaction then occurs to change the composition of the mixture until a new state of equilibrium is reached, or the direction that the reaction takes, that is either the reactants are converted into the products or the products are converted into the reactants, is the one that reduces the stress. So here is what the stress means. Moving on, now let us talk about the factors that alter an equilibrium mixture. So the factor number 1 is change in the concentration. Let us consider an equilibrium that occurs in the Haber's process for the synthesis of ammonia. Then we will come to know that 1 mole of nitrogen when reacts with 3 mole of hydrogen, we will get 2 mole of ammonia at 700 Kelvin, where the constant is 0.291. But if there is change in the concentration, then we will come to know that the equilibrium mixture of ammonia is 0.5, but it will lead to 1.5 molar in concentration. Then there will be change in the concentration. Here the Le Chatelier's principle tells us that the reaction will occur to relieve the stress of increased concentration of nitrogen by converting some of the nitrogen to ammonia. As the nitrogen concentration decreases, then the hydrogen concentration must also decrease, and the ammonia concentration will increase in accord with the stoichiometry of the balanced chemical equation. As shown in the figure, the net conversion of nitrogen and hydrogen to ammonia occurs until a new equilibrium is established. However, the initial equilibrium at which the reactants are equal to the products or the products are equal to the reactants means the reaction is at equilibrium. But here the changes occurs when the concentration of nitrogen is increased. But to release this concentration or this stress, the nitrogen and hydrogen concentrations decreases and the ammonia concentration increases, means that the reactants are converted into the products to release this stress. So this is how the Le-Chatelier's principle works. In general, when an equilibrium is disturbed by the addition or removal of any reactant or the product, then the Le-Chatelier's principle predicts that the concentration stress of an added reactant or a product is relieved by the net reaction in the direction that consumes the added substance, or the concentration stress of a removed reactant or a product is relieved by the net reaction in the direction that replenishes the removed substances. If these rules are applied to the equilibrium where 1 mole of nitrogen and 3 moles of hydrogen are converted into the 2 moles of ammonia, then the yield of ammonia is increased. It is increased by increase in the concentration of ammonia or hydrogen concentration, or by decrease in the concentration of ammonia. As shown in the figure, any of the changes which is marked in the blue shift the equilibrium to the left, and any of the changes marked in the pink shifts the equilibrium to the right. It means that if there is increase in the concentration of the reactants, then they are converted into the products to achieve the equilibrium, and vice versa. Moving on, we will come to know that the Le-Chatelier's principle is a handy rule for predicting the changes in the composition of an equilibrium mixture, but it doesn't explain why those changes occur. So, to see that why Le-Chatelier's principle work, let us look again at the reaction quotient. If we talk about the initial equilibrium mixture, as I already talked in the previous slides, we will come to know that the initial quotient of the reaction will be equal to the constant of the equilibrium when the concentration of the reactant is equal to the concentration of the product. As shown here, the concentration of the nitrogen initially was 0.5 molar, but when we increase the concentration of nitrogen to 1.5 molar, the denominator of the equilibrium constant expression increases and the reaction content decreases to the value less than equilibrium constant Kc. So here the value of the equilibrium constant decreases from the reaction content. So for the system to move to a new state of equilibrium, the reaction content must increase. That is, the numerator of the equilibrium constant expression must increases and the denominator must decrease to reach the equilibrium again. This implies that the net conversion of nitrogen and hydrogen to ammonia, just as predicted by the Le-Chatelier's principle, we will come to know that when the new equilibrium is established, the concentrations are increased accordingly. This is how the Le-Chatelier's principle works, and by the help of which the reaction content will be equal to the equilibrium constant. Now if you consider another example, then we will come to know that the reaction in an aqueous solution of ferric ions and the thiocyanate ions to give an equilibrium mixture that contains a bond which is created between the iron and the nitrogen atoms. However, a red complex is formed which is known as the ferrous thiocyanate. Moreover, the shifts in the position of this equilibrium can be detected by observing that how the color of the solution changes when we add the various reagents. Moreover, if we add an aqueous solution of ferric chloride, then the red color gets darker as predicted by the Le-Chatelier's principle. So, the concentration stress of added ferric is relieved by the net reaction from left to right when consumes some of the ferric ions and the increases in the concentration of the ferrous thiocyanate complex. Similarly, if we add an aqueous solution of potassium thiocyanate, the stress of added thiocyanate shifts the equilibrium from left to right, and again the red color gets darker. As shown in the diagram, there are the 5 beakers upon which the reagents added, the color changes from pale yellow to darker red and then to colorless. However, the original solution, now if we add an oxalic acid to the ferrous thiocyanate ions, due to the formation of ferrioxalate ions, the ferrous thiocyanate ion decreases and the solution becomes less darker. At last, if we add the mercury chloride to the ferrous thiocyanate ions, due to the formation of mercury thiocyanate, the ferrous thiocyanate ions decreases and the solution becomes colorless. However, the equilibrium can be shifted in the opposite direction by adding the reagents that remove the ferric or the thiocyanate ions. Moreover, the addition of aqueous mercury chloride also eliminates the red color because the mercury chloride reacts with that of the thiocyanate ions to form the stable and colorless complex known as the mercury thiocyanate, a bond which is formed between the mercury and the sulfur. However, the removal of free thiocyanate ions results in the dissociation of the red ferrous thiocyanate ions so as to replenish the thiocyanate ions. However, the reaction is as shown. So this was all from my side on the Le-Chatelier's principle and the factors that affect the reaction equilibrium.